I can't believe I'm inside the Saydnaya prison in Syria. Yeah, I read that it was done by Hafez al-Assad in the 80s. Yeah. It's something by the first desire.
And it has been used from back then until now, so there are a lot of scary memories here. First, every adversary family has like a brother right here. I have an uncle who was here, and he had a really bad story. Like a father and his son, and then the son saw his father die in front of him. They killed him in front of him and then kept them inside the cell.
Do you trust him?
Actually, I believe the best thing for Syria is democracy. But also, I believe we are not ready for democracy yet after like 54 years of dictatorship. Yeah, so I hope the best for our country, but I think we should get a non-military president.
Okay, today's video is gonna be one of the most difficult I've ever made in my life. And as you read in the title, I'm going to a prison. They call it the slaughterhouse here in Syria. And it's where the former regime used to torture people, make them disappear. More than a prison, it was like a mass grave. And if you ask me if I'm scared, honestly, it's more than fear. I kind of have a stomachache. In fact, I didn't even have breakfast. But at the same time, I feel a responsibility to show what reality was like just a few months ago.
In fact, with the few people I've been able to interact with since, well, I don't speak the language.
But I've had a translator during the trip, and what they've told me when they see me recording is, show everything that the old regime left behind. Show it so that the world knows about it. Obviously, there was endless censorship, there was repression, and what was known in the outside world was more of a guess. Because it was very hard to know what was really happening. Obviously, people suspected terrible things. But all the destruction left by this government, it wasn't visible. And today, several YouTubers have taken on the task of coming here, documenting and showing the world what it's really like. I haven't been able to move because I'm in an alley that's completely blocked by a car that's loading suitcases. And well, I also have my suitcase and I'm already leaving the hotel. I'm going to the car I'm leaving in, but I can't go through there. Or can I? Let's see. Shukran. Now let's keep going. The streets are too narrow. Here we are. Look at this. I'm in a car there. And by the way, it surprises me. One of the few luxury cars. And if I get on the sidewalk, I still can't walk either.
I can't walk much on the sidewalk, as you can see there, because, well, there's a mess up ahead, so I have to go back onto the street again.
And that's how I go. Okay. I think you are behind me. I'm walking back. Look at that little stuffed animal that's coming with us.
He was flying from the south.
I want you to meet Yub. He is the one making my entry into Saydnaya prison possible, and also the one who organized my entire trip through Syria. Yub, how long have you been organizing trips for people who want to come to Syria?
For 6 years. Okay, since 2019 when people started traveling to Syria again.
And when did people stop traveling to Syria, like after the civil war?
Yeah, after the civil war in 2011 they closed the border, and then in late 2019 it reopened again. Then it was closed again after COVID-19 for 18 months.
And how has tourism been since 2019?
Actually, now it's more like an adventure, okay? And actually it's increasing a lot. There are so many people who want to travel to Syria. Yeah. And now, after the fall of Assad, it's much easier, and more people are traveling now, which is a good thing for the country.
Awesome. And I have one last question. Can everyone who comes to Syria go to the Syria prison?
No. It's not allowed now because they want to make it a museum.
Okay.
So I think they will need some time, okay, before reopening the main office. Well, this is why.
Thank you. Thank you for taking me. And this is why. Look, this building we're passing was the immigration building during the regime. Right after its fall, some pro-government rebels came and burned everything. because there was evidence there indicating war crimes, and in addition, the blockade of countless people who couldn't enter. They were completely blocked.
And well, to prevent getting more evidence, as if more evidence was needed against this dictator.
The rebels who supported him burned absolutely everything. We just stopped the car there.
And right before getting here, what we passed was like the fancy area of Damascus. I don't know if you managed to see a gym, a shopping mall.
And some buildings, well, relatively modern given the circumstances this country has had to live through. But then, I mean, right after that square, look at the amount of destruction there is around. And that's because this is where the opposition to al-Assad used to be. Ayub tells me that they used chemical weapons, they used barrels full of TNT and threw them from buildings. That's why you see destruction like this. Well, they're telling me a pretty interesting past that honestly isn't on the internet. There are no news reports about this. I mean, people talk about the war, but as if it were just any other war. And honestly, the amount of horrifying things that happened here needs to be told.
This area used to be a residential area, and when people wanted to move from the city, they would buy a house here to start their lives. And when the war started, this neighborhood, which is called Jobar, used to be the front line. That's why you see a lot of destruction here. It was full of people, and this is what they left behind. This damage is because of the random barrel bombs that Assad's forces used to drop on these residential areas from helicopters.
And were these people military fighting against the opposition, or were they also civilians like...
On the Syrian side, it used to be Assad's army and Iranian militias and Hezbollah from Lebanon, and Russia joined later after that in 2014. From this side, the opposition forces are the local people who rose up against Assad in 2011. So after 1 year of peacefully protesting and being attacked by Assad, they decided to defend their areas.
And the opposition party had alliances with other Arab countries.
Or whatever. Yes, they used to be supported by Turkey and Qatar, but this area was surrounded by Assad's army, so there was no way to support them. That's why they dug underneath and created a big system of tunnels to move underground during fighting. We'll move to the other side to show you the facts about being with family. The tunnel, and from here, you can see the checkpoint of Assad's army. So this is actually the front line. Now we will walk through the tunnels to check it. Careful.
And as you can see between the buildings, there were these secret tunnels through which we are going to enter so that, well, the militias...
Of the opposition could escape or move.
I can't believe I'm entering here. You're telling me that's a new tunnel? Yeah. And people still use it nowadays. No.
It's not a big deal, but it's a big system. And in some places, it's big enough for a car to move.
Wow.
Wow, it's made by hand.
Yeah. All made by hand.
It's hard to breathe here.
Yeah. This is all made by the opposition to survive under the al-Assad regime, right? Yeah.
Because the main weapon for Assad's forces was the barrel bombs.
Exactly.
Destroyed everything.
You know, I can't imagine what a barrel bomb being dropped from a helicopter looks like. There's no cure for how far human ambition can go. People who literally have problems, traumas. We came out of that tunnel, and here there's like a little hallway, and then there's another tunnel over there, but that one's already kind of destroyed, and I really don't dare to go in there. Besides, it's pretty narrow, pretty small. I'll show you up to the entrance. Wow, look at that craziness.
Literally everything around is destroyed. Everything, everything, everything.
Wow. And over there, well, the little square, which honestly is just a street. Just the place or the area that they didn't destroy because there were Al-Assad government checkpoints right here. What is sarin gas?
Random killings for everyone because all of the area is full of opposition. Wow. It used to be called the FSA or the Free Syrian Army. So this area used to be a stronghold for the FSA during the Syrian Revolution.
So that sarin gas is like a chemical weapon. Yeah.
So many kids get killed because of that attack. And we do it a couple of times also in Al Ghouta area in different towns. Wow. And you see here, there's some people who are coming back, trying to reopen and start their life again from scratch. Yes.
So the first thing I do when I enter the October War Museum is to,
You step into a sad space.
okay, step on a set space. Well, this museum is called the October War Museum, referring to the 1973 war that Bashar al-Assad's father, whose name was Hafez al-Assad, fought against Israel. But look how crazy this car is here, all shot up at the entrance of the museum. Of course, the museum is completely destroyed, but let's see what's left of it.
Because it was built by North Korea to glorify Hafez al-Assad.
And so that the people who came to visit the museum would see all the war crimes committed by Israel against Syria and would glorify him as if he were a god. In fact, there's a giant statue with open arms. Let me see if I can find a picture on the internet and show it here, but obviously as soon as his son was overthrown, they destroyed everything. Everything. Statues, monuments, posters, everything related to both governments.
And they created this museum after the 73 war with the help of North Korean artists to show the victory of Syria and Egypt in that war. So here in this part, we have the same military vehicles that they used in the 73 war from the Syrian side here, and the ones they captured from the Israeli side on the other side. So it's all real. Wow. I remember when I was a kid, they used to take us here on school trips every year. It was like a part of the brainwashing they do for kids when they're young. Wow.
Every year,
But
the same museum.
and the same story.
Yeah, of course, all these tanks and trucks were used by Syria. Look at those rocket launchers. Wow. What you see here was not part of the war, but a capsule that returned from space with a Syrian astronaut, with the Russian group that at that time went to space and came back safe and sound. There were the soldiers who are guarding this place, and they said we couldn't go in. Okay, now a guard came up to us, talked to Ayub, and led us in through the back of the museum. And as I've been telling you since the beginning of this video, people want what happened to be shown. They want it not to be repeated here in Syria and for it to serve as an example to the world of the atrocities a dictator can commit.
So, of the world, you see a statue of a woman? It's everywhere. This is in both the books and propaganda books full of lies.
All eyes.
This is the University of Florida Library. Whoa, this is his son.
Wow.
This is his son? Basil. He was preparing his son to be the next president, but he passed away in a car accident in '94.
So that's the brother of Bashar al-Assad.
The one who's supposed to be the president. And after he passed away, they made so many books about his life, and it's like, my God, propaganda stuff. And also, there are hundreds of books talking about Assad, Hafez al-Assad, the father's life, and it shows him as a god, not like as a human being. Of course, both inspired by North Korea.
All inspired by North Korea.
I think
I've probably repeated this to you 350,000 times throughout this series, but fanaticism is the worst thing that can happen to a person. Look, even with a soccer team, something as silly as that, I don't know if you're aware, but the Boca River and River Boca matches in Argentina can't have visiting fans because they kill each other. And it's crazy, all because of fanaticism, and this is just stupid. Using the example of soccer compared to what dictators, war crimes, or extreme religious groups can do, obviously it's not the same. No, I don't want to mention the word here in front of them because you know, but it's astonishing what fanaticism can cause. And this is a reminder that we shouldn't fall into fanaticism.
this photo was taken when he visited this place, and these are the military commanders who came to him.
Wow. It's super creepy. Also, it's really cold in this place. Thank you. Super creepy, yes. You can see this guy's walking weird, and so is the other one. And Ayub just told me that, well, it's because they have gunshot wounds and war injuries. So where are we going to go in? We don't know. We arrived at Saydnaya prison. Apparently, you have to apply for a journalism visa to be allowed in. And until about a month ago, they were approving all of them, but now it's very, very complicated. That's why other fellow YouTubers managed to get in and record this place from the inside. We're trying to talk to the guard, but whether we manage to get in or not, I still want to tell you some facts about this place. It was built in the 1980s by Hafez Assad. The initial purpose was to put soldiers who committed military crimes, war crimes, or who rebelled against the government. But then, they also started putting in political prisoners who simply thought and spoke in opposition to the regime. By 2011, when the civil war happened, the son of Hafez al-Assad, Bashar al-Assad, used this place as a center for systematic punishment. There was torture here, there were deaths. Literally, they killed so many people and didn't have anywhere to bury them. They opened something like a mass grave, basically a hole, and there they threw people in. It is estimated that since the prison opened, more than 150,000 people are buried in there, in a mass grave or in several mass graves, because since this regime has been in power for 55 years until December 2024, there is an unofficial statistic, but more than 1 million people were killed by the regime. And 13 million left the country. Today, there are 12 million people in Syria, and in total, the population was about 26 or 27 million, counting all those who have left, most of whom now live in refugee camps. And, well, they have also gone to neighboring countries like Turkey or something like that, and others have lost their lives in the attempt. Just now, we had the opportunity to talk to a man who was imprisoned 4 times in this prison, and the first time he was just an artist. In the 80s, they put him in prison for 9 years because they believed he was a messenger for the opposition. And he always had to pay, to bribe, because they extorted him a lot so he could get out, even so they wouldn't kill him. Because inside there was a kind of rent or fee, a protection payment or whatever you want to call it, that they had to pay to the guards. What in Latin America you'd call a protection payment. There are prisons where you have to pay the prison bosses inside the prison so they don't do anything to you. Here the prison bosses were the guards and the people who watched over this place. But I read that there were mass murders. I mean, there were nights when they would take 1,000 prisoners and hang them all at once and throw them into a mass grave, or they would electrocute them or drown them. Countless methods of torture were used in this place as a means of repression to prevent people from opposing the regime. Okay, they gave us super quick access just for 5 minutes. But did you say just 5 minutes? Yeah. And why is that? Why is it so complicated now?
Because they had some problems, because people were stealing evidence and IDs from inside. So they closed the place because of that reason. And this is a bit exceptional. Okay, so inside it's like a prison now, the human slaughter. More than 150,000 Syrians have been killed in this prison because they expressed their political opinions about the previous regime. So anyone who says something against the Assad government will end up in this place and probably get killed, because the capacity of this place is not huge. It's about 20 to 30,000. So when they bring more people, they kill some of the prisoners and replace them with new ones.
Wow. It says they had mines on both sides, and after liberation, they tried to dig and then they removed those mines. Some mines are still there because people were digging for their prisoners just to see if there were hidden prisoners underground, since it happened in Damascus, but they didn't find any here underground. They continue searching for more mines daily.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like 3 parts, 3 main parts.
So this is the main building.
Because when someone has been brought here, they didn't tell anything to their family.
Exactly. It's more like a kidnapping thing. Yeah, the worst part about it is that he might die not even knowing anything. So basically, families used to pay money to some officers and some soldiers. Just tell me anything about my son. Is he alive? Is he dead? They used to steal money and never gave them any information. Actually, only 300 people got out of the prison after liberation. Thousands have died?
300 people, yeah.
Yeah, just only that, wow.
More than 150,000 people get killed.
Ayub has already had the opportunity to come to this prison 2 or 3 times before, so he more or less knows some of the ways. We drove the car through some hallways and I thought, where's this crazy guy taking us? But look at him. Look at him up ahead. And I really appreciate your cooperation so I could get in. The persistence, we were outside for like 45 minutes talking to the guards. And of course, right now, to be able to get in, you need a permit, especially to know who is coming in. And not to put at risk the evidence of the crimes against humanity that were committed in here. Obviously, it's not that easy to get in. At the entrance, I had the chance to meet one of the few people who made it out of this place. He was an artist from Hama who was imprisoned in this prison 4 times. The first time lasted 9 years, then later for just 2 or 3 months. And he managed to get out because, well, as an artist, he was doing very well and could bribe the guards to let him out. Even so, they wouldn't kill him because, as you heard, when the prison got full, they had to kill previous prisoners, old prisoners, to make room for new ones and bury them just like that, like a piece of meat thrown into a pit.
This is the note of a medical check section, so they keep people here to check them. And here's the worst part of the prison, the single cell section.
Worst part of the prison, yeah.
Single cells. You need to be careful because...
You walk 2 steps.
Yeah.
Before execution, the people who want to get away from them, they put them here alone about a week before execution. No. And this is, they say I have the like. A local who came here, he told me that they used to put important people here, you know.
Like, and I have one question. Why did they put him here 1 week before execution? Because...
This is the one.
It's a form of torture.
This is the single cell, but we also heard that they keep more people in this small cell. At some point, more than 10 people, you see. And some people wrote their memories on the walls. Wow. You're telling me they had 10 people here? This is like 1 square meter or 2 square meters, something like that. There's nothing here also. And actually, when liberation happened, they found them. These cells were full, you know. There were people here. They were not empty. People were flipping things underneath, looking for secret cells or something, because so many people were lost here. So they were trying to find anything, any evidence, even underneath. Okay. And here you can find the dates and the jewelry, the names of the prisoners who've been here. Wow.
is that Spider-Man?
Black. Wow. Do you want to see the most important thing about it? Yeah, this cell. Can you... 11, do you know the American journalist? The American journalist who was lost during Assad's time? They took him as the kidnapper, and it was his help. Hello. 11.
Boston, yeah.
He stayed there for exactly 12 years.
And he was liberated.
Exactly at the time of liberation. Locals came and said, and they opened the door for him. It was just there.
He was still a prisoner when he was...
For 12 years, he survived and remained there. When liberation came, they opened the door for him and he left.
Out, like in December, yeah?
Exactly, and he was there. We had a local who came here and he was telling us every small detail. He said that they opened the cell and he was there alive after 12 years in the prison.
And he hasn't. He hasn't posted anything or done any interviews since. No.
No, that's
what we're looking for. That's really about it. Yeah.
They never saw him after that.
Okay.
But they said that they opened the cell and he was here. They also took a Japanese person hostage. Also, like different nationalities that would speak the truth about Assad. It's the renovated part of the prison. They renovated it after the international case that what happened, and between the prisoners and the International Council, the Security Council knew about it. That they have killed a prisoner here. So Assad tried to renovate it just to show, to Western journalists, that we have some area here. It's 3 floors, there is a section for females, there is a section for males. It is big.
Sorry, I'm okay.
So it is big, and you can find different...
Also, women were imprisoned here.
Yes, they found some clothes belonging to women. This is the main part, the main section. Wow. One bathroom and 100 people here. 100 people in this cell, yeah. They can only see the light from this part.
Wow, and this is the 3rd floor.
They left it when they left during the liberation. Wow.
Man, this is so heartbreaking. Just 1 year. I imagine the shower and the toilet. A cell with 100 people.
us.
Can you stay here for 5 minutes? Yeah, not 5 because we don't have so much time, but wow. I'm aware that I'm going to leave in a minute. And with all that, the anxiety you feel is overwhelming, the stomach pain. I mean, witnessing that many people died here, were imprisoned for so many years that. Look, these are relatively new pants. Look. I mean.
Wow.
Look at this place. Well, I think I'm going to go out because I kind of have a stomach ache. I can't believe I'm inside Saydnaya prison in Syria.
This is a women's section, you know? Okay, they used to bring women into the first 3 cells, and here they look at it like at the stage they used to in the morning for females, and in the evening for males, they used to cut their hair. So I was seeing that this is the hair. I don't know if it's a wig. They used to bring the women in the morning, cut and buzz their hair, and do the same for the men.
Wow. Look at the amount of hair. So
While we were standing, like we were cutting, you have to be like this in this position. They used to torture them, put the blood all over the place. They used to kill them and torture them.
oh, shit. It seems like fresh blood.
Like until the last moment, actually,
Very last moment. I don't want to touch it, but even in the center,
It's actually like a medical point.
they used to die due to lack of health care.
of course.
This used to be the officer's room. And then as you got inside, you also have to see the food, the drinks, and everything. They were drinking arak, alcohol, for the very last moments before running away when they knew that the opposition had reached Saydnaya.
My God, yeah. So they were having the good life before. Yeah.
You can see the orange, so they put the other orange clothes on the regular prisoners.
They put the red ones on for the execution. Wow. Look at this. They used to put those orange suits on people. How many levels did this prison have? Wow, that's so creepy. Really, super creepy. I'm going down because I don't want Ayub, who appears in the video, to get in trouble too.
Yeah.
And I also don't want the guards who gave us access to get into trouble. And honestly, I'm a little scared. Wow, I'm coming.
And the famous story of the Syrian lady who went to prison and stayed there for 14 years. For 14 years. And she got out with 4 children, not knowing who the father was. Wow, if you got to see the cells, there are small cameras on top of every cell. The officers used to watch the women, and if an officer liked a woman, he would take her and rape her. Every Syrian family has experienced a predator here. I have an uncle here, he's a distant relative who was here, and he had a really bad story. It was like a father and his son. The son saw his father die right in front of him. They killed his father in front of him and then kept him inside the cell. And then we were lucky to have a local survivor from here. He actually ran here and came with us. He was really eager to come again. I said, "We're coming to the prison." He said, "Please let me come. I just want to tell you everything I know." And he went with us and told us, here they used to torture us. Here they used to cut our hair. He was there for all the things that happened, so he knows everything about it. And he paid money to be put with the women, so he got to see what life was like for each woman.
Okay.
The people who paid the money, they used to put them with women? not men, you know, like Lester Train. Yeah. And he can get you good food or whatever once he pays more and more and more. So it was kind of like a job for them. It was a business. Yeah.
This gentleman, okay, he told me that he stayed here for 5 years, from 87 until 92, okay. He stayed here after what happened in Hama back in the ADS, so he spent 5 years here. He told me he didn't like to go out because they used to torture people outside. So everyone was preparing to stay in the city.
And can you ask him why did they take him?
Ideas about this, true.
تهمة الانتماء للإخوان المسلمين.
Terrorism. He was 15 years old, but they say he might join the Muslim Brothers.
Okay, in Hama.
Back in the
80s. Okay, that was like a revolution in Hama.
Yeah, but he was 15 years old at that time, and he spent 5 years here and 7 years in Banjul prison. Wow, that was a huge famous prison in Banjul as well.
How he managed to get out of the prison at that time after 5 years here?
He spent 7 years and 5 years, and after that they released some of the prisoners because, okay, they didn't have enough evidence against him. He was 15 years old. This is his photo when he was here, when he got arrested. Same age, 15 years old.
Wow. Ask him if he can describe in a few words what it was like to live here.
Torture. They had no rights, no human rights. After he stayed for 6 years, having nightmares and problems because of this period of his life, and this man a little more. Hey, so now he's remembering everything.
الغرف هاي.
He used to, torture him in this section, and he used to stay in this section, the one we went into first. Well,
Thank you so much for your words, and
I'm
grateful that you're free now in this plaza here. They took them out in the winter because, for those who don't know, Syria is a very cold country. In the winter, it can reach 0 degrees or even lower. And they took them out naked, sprayed them with water, and left them there to spend the whole night. It's one of the many torture methods they used. It amazes me to find people who were imprisoned and decide to come back here. I can imagine the trauma they experienced and likely still have, because I'm not sure if you ever truly get over it or just learn to live with it. But also, from my conversations with Syrians, I've noticed that they're so used to war, so used to it, that it just feels normal to them. Well, yeah, they killed someone right next to me and a bomb fell. It even feels a bit like coldness. And I imagine it's a self-defense mechanism so you don't suffer as much, right? The girl, I don't remember her name, sorry, told me that she had relatives who had been here. And Ayub also told me that he had 2 cousins and a friend who came here. And one of them, they didn't find him. I mean, he literally lost his life in there. And the crazy thing is that he tells me in a way that, I mean, anyone else would have broken down in tears, but I guess they're just so used to it. Okay, wow.
It says Minesfield.
Minesfield, yeah.
All of this, it was full of mines.
So in that piece of land there are mines. You can't walk there because you'll explode.
I think it was made in the 80s, the late 80s, yeah. I think when I was there.
Yeah, I read that it was done by Hafez al-Assad in the 80s, yeah.
Exactly, by one of the first designers. And it has been used from back then until now. So like a lot of scary memories here. You can't believe how much.
You were telling me that you also have family or friends who...
2 cousins from my aunt's side. They were forcibly disappeared during the war, and we found out after a couple of years that they had been arrested and brought here. So, after the liberation, we didn't get any evidence to know if they are still alive, but they were probably killed in this place.
Wow, well, I'm so sorry for that, my friend.
One of them, the youngest cousin, he was in the army. And when the revolution started, he decided to leave because he didn't want to be a part of this killing. So they arrested him after that, and yeah, we lost him.
My God, I'm so sorry, man. So sorry for you. Thank you. So sorry. I have a question for you, Ayub. I read that the former president, now he was back in the days with Al-Qaeda, but then he just quit. And do you trust him?
Actually, I believe the best thing for Syria is democracy. But also, I believe we are not ready for democracy yet after like 54 years of dictatorship. Yeah. So I hope the best for our country, but I think we should get a non-military president. Yeah, like someone who is educated and cares about developing the economy, not fighting, in my opinion. And this is how we hope to build Syria.
What do you think?
We're just gonna hope like there's gonna be elections, yeah. And I believe that's what's gonna happen. They can't make Syrians be silent anymore. Yeah, they can't. It was by Assad, and we're going to try not to repeat the same mistake and just be oppressed again. We're just going to speak up, Like, if we want a president, we have to say that we want this and we don't want that, Yeah, we're just waiting, We have no other options. We're just calling the international ears, like, please listen, do more, more settlements. We want a peaceful life. We're just waiting. It's either going to happen or not.
I hope everything turns out for the best for you.
Hopefully Syria really needs peace. Syrians they were the happiest people on earth with no electricity, no water, but no Assad. They were really happy and they were satisfied with less. But we deserve a better life. We deserve it, yeah.
Yeah. As a grandson of a Syrian grandmother, I can relate a little bit to how you could have felt during those times. And yeah, I hope that all these big changes turn out to be the best for the country. I hope so.
Thanks, Emmanuel, for covering that.
This is the most trained dog I've ever seen in my life, and it's only a few months old. And he didn't even stay out there outside the prison to avoid the sun in this intense heat, even though they already gave him some water. Man, how old is your dog?
3 months.
At 3 months, he's the best trained dog I've seen in my life.
Here's the first dog who will say my name.
My God. This is how my journey through Syria ends. I'm already heading to the border by car to cross into Lebanon and spend the next few days there before leaving this continent. I'm very grateful to all the people who were part of this journey. The Syrian people in general are very kind, and I truly wish with all my heart that they can grow again and flourish together. So much ash and rubble all across the country.